Hi everyone, how's everybody doing? We got the baby Blaze here. Let me show him. Oh, I might need to adjust my chair. Blazer the Morkie says hello. Isn't him a cute baby? Aw. I had to showcase him. He's gonna get kind of rowdy probably. Let me make sure you have sounds. Just making sure, doing my sound check. If you're here, say hello. Doing my sound check. If you're here. There we go. We have sound. We're good. We've got purple. We've got blue. We've got all the fun colors today. I don't know. Do I like purple? Ooh, I kind of like that one. What about that one? Kind of like this one. All right, Blaze. Say bye-bye to everybody. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't get too scrambly here. Here, there you go. Say bye-bye to everybody now. Say bye-bye. You're supposed to look at the camera. You're supposed to look over here, dear. No, over here. Well, there's Blaze. Made his appearance today. All right. Now you go out there with everybody. Okay, let me get myself up a little higher in this chair. Okay. Whew. All right, now we'll get on to the actual introduction. So that was a little Blaze cameo. Got dirty glasses here too. I think we'll be okay here. All right, there we go. Hair's all fixed and everything. Okay. Welcome everyone and a very happy spring equinox to all of you Northern Hemi creators. I know we've got the autumnal equinox going on for Southern Hemisphere creators, and I will let their mystics and their shaman and their readers and energy workers take care of that. But here where I am, it's the spring equinox. So wow, what a time. Here at this time of the seasons changing, as Molly McCord, one of my favorite astrologers on YouTube, said, we are in a delicious eclipse sandwich. So we just had an eclipse on the 14th of March, and we have another one coming up on the 29th. So we're right in the middle of everything. We're right at this turning point of the season. And so that's the direction I'm going to take things today with the readings. So I'm really excited to get into that. Okay. All right. So I want to welcome all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for taking a chance on my channel and showing up. I definitely encourage you to browse around. There is a ton of content on the channel already. There's timeless readings, there's readings by sign, and you'll be able to go to my old stuff and see how rough it was at first and see how I'm improving, and I'm going to continue to improve. The people that are my OGs and or OCs, original creators who have been with me for the whole of this journey. Welcome back. Thank you so much for your support, your ongoing support, your engagement, your wonderful comments. I definitely want to encourage everyone to comment, share what you like, what you don't like, participate, send those emojis through, do the fun things on the lives. And if you're catching a replay, make sure you let me know you saw it. I want to know who's watching and what you liked about it. Now, as a subscriber, it's important that if you don't want to miss anything and you want to have those reminders, that you hit that notification bell and select all for all notifications for my channel. That way you will get the notification right when things come out. Even if you can't watch it right away, it will pop up for you as a reminder. So make sure you hit that notification bell. That way I can be sure to show up in your feed. And you're going to do that with your favorite channels so that you see what you want in your feed. You have to teach the algorithm what it is you want, right? So I'm also going to share, I have a podcast channel here on my YouTube channel. My podcast is called Real Life Mages. Okay. And Real Life Mages is, oh, I love this podcast. It gives me a chance to interview like minded and like hearted creators. And some of you watching have been interviewed. And I have done 4 episodes. The fifth one is getting ready to launch. So, what I'm doing right now is just reminding everyone. And on social media, I'm sharing a little bit about episode 1, and I'll go through 2, 3, and 4 as I'm editing number 5 and getting that ready to publish. I had an amazing guest, Teresa Posh of Yourself Evolved, and we got into the very interesting topic of near death experiences and how that can shape and change a person's life. And she has a very personal, vulnerable, and very authentic story to share. So stay tuned here on the channel for that next episode of Real Life Mages. It's coming after lots of um, editing, because podcasts, they are sometimes watched, but they're sometimes listened to, and so you want to make sure that you're keeping the beat on those. So any content creator knows what I'm talking about here. There's also a current batch of timeless readings, which is kind of funny. I say current batch of timeless readings. I'm currently posting a batch of timeless readings. There's one for every sign. I think later today, I think it just released Sagittarius. So now the earth signs are coming. Thank you for your patience, earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You will be coming. Keep an eye out for that. And I'm so excited. I am getting to test YouTube's new YouTube creators, the way that you can edit your shorts and do all kinds of cool stuff. So I am doing that. So some of the shorts are you're gonna see quirky little differences in those as I kind of play with the tool and learn about it. Definitely, definitely. I'm just gonna highlight again. Comment on my videos, please. Please comment. I want to know what you like. I like to know what format of reading you like, what type, what themes you like for the readings, and if they resonated, of course. A lot of you are very good at telling me this resonated, this was totally what I'm going through, and I love that kind of feedback. But I also want to know, what card decks did you like? What do you like seeing my face, or do you like from like a top down with my hands so you can see the cards, or do you like a mix of both, right? Let me know, because you're my audience and you're the people I'm here for. So I want to know your thoughts on that. You can drop a comment. I will see it. I promise. And also, I did a little something that I want to let everybody know about. I have launched a spring special. I rarely do specials anymore. They come around maybe like 3, maybe 4 times a year at most, so kind of once a season. And I'm doing a spring equinox special right now. So if you're catching this Frequency Friday close to the date that it actually took place and you're hearing this, head on over to my Instagram. On Instagram, I'm at Creators on the Crest, and in my stories, and you can also catch me on Facebook at Creators on the Crest, my business page. And in the stories, watch for the special. It is a mini reading for $20, and I'm pre recording those, and then I'm going to send those to you. It'll either be, for most of you, or Instagram or Facebook, it'll be through the Messenger app. For those of you who may not have that access, it would be via email. But those are pre-recorded, but it's about 3 to 5 cards, and I'll go into whatever theme or question you want. It's like the lowest price. It's the best deal. So make sure, if this sounds good to you and you catch this before March 31st, then you can book the reading. Okay? So make sure you check out for it. And right on the story there will be a link where you can book the reading, and then you just message me and I go in and check, and I can see who's booked. And as soon as you book, I will be in touch with you about the turnaround time. Okay. So I would love to see you guys take advantage of that special. And that's a unique opportunity. Hi, babe. There's my boyfriend, Jason Werlein. So Jason has a YouTube channel. I'm going to plug my guy right now. He's an up and coming YouTuber. He is part of the community of OG YouTubers as well. So he used to have a channel, Life Happens, kind of moved away from that. And now he's back at it again. And you'll see on his channel, he talks about all kinds of interesting stuff. He's an analyst, he goes in deep to stuff. But you'll see also a lot of shorts of Blazer the Morkie. He's having a lot of fun, filming Blaze and getting the cutest little things is like our log. We all, our pets coming in and out of our life so fast that you just want to kind of memorialize every moment. It's kind of like, you have your children, you have your kids, and you have your fur baby children and kids, and they're just such a delight. And honestly, they're probably some of the glue that holds people together, right? So be sure to check out his channel. It's just his name, Jason Werline. So check him out. All right, there's your plug, babe. All right, we're going to get into, if I can get relaxed from all the announcements. We are going to get into some collective messages today. So remember I said here, our intention today is celebrating the spring equinox, right? So let me get a sip of water here. I have to drink the alkaline water, y'all. It really helps because I also drink coffee. So I put the acid in, I put the alkaline in. I know it's like I need to switch over to that mushroom coffee. I've just never found one that is the taste for me. So if you have a good like adaptogen coffee that you actually found was unique and it tastes good as a replacement, let me know in the comments because it's hard to find that taste, right? That coffee taste that some of us have grown to love. Okay. Collective messages. Where shall we start? I think today we're going to start with I have like 8 decks out here. We're going to start with the Rose Oracle. So we're going to go with a little springtime vibe. And I'm going to pull a card from this beautiful Rose Oracle deck. This is, oh, and guys, I have to show you the box. I love the box on this one. The only bad thing is you can't grab it from, the top, unless you want to go, whoop, but I love the shape of the box. This is who's this by? Rebecca Campbell. And she does a Rose Oracle, a Starseed Oracle. I think she has some others too, but her boxes are really cool for her cards. So those of you who are card collectors are experts. I like that one. Just showing you. Okay. So I'm asking for the highest and best message for the creators, everyone who will watch this video live or on the replay. What is our highest and best message for the spring equinox? And working with these energies, we're here in the middle of 2 eclipses. What do we need to know? What do we need to hold at the forefront of our minds and hearts? This one. Okay. Oh, dog. We're going to go there today. We're going to go there today. We got healing the mother line, healing ancestral work, the mother line, and growing up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We got it. All right. We got it. All right. So what we're going to do, we'll have a little fun. Well, that's purple. Do I have a pink? Is this pink? This is pink. This is pink as these pink lights will get, but to me, they look purple. But in honor of the mother line, I was trying to change my lights to pink. But hey, all right. Well, we gave them a little prop there. So mother energies, wow, they are so complex and they can be very tricky. In this card, you will see the character sitting in kind of a mist or almost like a filter of energetic vibration. So, and on each side, there's 2 almost like Sphinx-like characters, female with the palms opened up, and that perhaps represents the mother line. I get ancestral work a lot when I get the 9 of Wands. This in particular is that kind of a vibe, except it's specifically the mother line. So, in the ways that we're connected to mother, I am not surprised this is coming up during springtime. Springtime is a time of opening, a time of blossoming as a rose opens, as we think of a female body that opens up to receive. This is mother energy, this is womb energy time. So, as we're smack dab between these powerful eclipses and we're celebrating this season, where things are growing warmer, let's take a look at how our relationships to our mothers are looking. Okay. This is deep healing work. It can be super duper tricky. With some of the breakout readings that I'm planning on going into today, I wouldn't be surprised if this pops up again. But as a collective creator group, we are being asked to work on healing with the mother. So, this is a very deep and intimate experience when we go into this mother healing. It is, it requires both a courage and a softness for both men and women as they go into these energies. And that can be a really tricky balance to achieve. Okay. Men working on healing their mother's line. So, you can even consider you may have had a pretty good relationship with your mother, but what was going on with her mother? And so, grandma, great grandma, great great grandma, the sisters, the aunts, right? What was going on in the family? So, even if you had a great relationship with your mom, what was going on with mom? What was going on with mom when she was pregnant with you? What were her emotions like? Was anything happening? Because this can go all the way back, right? And that's not even counting possible potential past lives that you may have had with your mother. So, this is deep, deep work in the feminine realms, and that can be a little tricky. That can be a little tricky. We're working with a lot of dynamics. So, when I'm thinking of the laws of alchemy, one of the laws of alchemy is the law of gender, that everything is either male or female. Now, I know that probably is going to get into a lot of social triggered issues. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Okay. What I am going to say is that in all of my healing work and in all of the clients that I've worked with over the years, and in knowing myself as a young person all the way up until the age of 25 when my brain was still forming and what state of mind I was in, I think it's just so important to recognize each one of us is born into this world with a either male or female. There are the rare cases. There are the rare cases of, there's extra chromosomes, extra sex chromosomes, or something like that, right? We're not going to go too far down that rabbit hole, but I want to hold space because I believe that no matter what humanity is going through and whether or not I agree with it, I believe in treating people with kindness and respect. Okay. So I just want to make that statement as well. I think it's important for all of us to find that, even though we can be quite frustrated, especially when young people are involved. And I understand that. But here we are. This is coming up along with the mother healing. When we, as young people, do not go into healing issues with our mother, right? Because that's our testing ground. That's where we're testing everything. Was she there? Was she not there? That's where we learn about feminine energy. Some women, some moms are in the masculine energy quite often, right? And so we have, hello, I see some people joining. Hello, hello. So lovely to see you guys. So some women are in their masculine. What's that like for a child, right? So when it comes to the mother line, it comes to the feminine. I'm talking about biological females. I'm talking about all the souls I've worked with. You usually choose your physical embodied sex for a reason, right? Or gender, whatever. I know there's all these terms and it's being complicated. It's being all this, okay? But if you're born into the world a woman, you're born in a woman. You're meant to work with the feminine energies that way. I'm not telling you what to do later on in life. Once your brain is formed and you're an adult, by all means, you may choose to do whatever you want. I would never tell anybody different. But as we're growing and as we're developing, it's important for us to work with these issues. The feminine energy is coming up for us in the collective here, this collective message. So we need to understand that it's healing on the feminine and healing on the maternal line. And you have to have a lot of courage to go into that. But it's so, so important to heal our mother issues, heal our father issues, because those are the figures with which we're meant to learn. Those are the people that are stewarding us into the world. And we have to take a realistic look at what was our childhood like? What was our upbringing like? So the mother line and healing the mother line and going into these issues within ourselves can be really scary because we'll see parts of ourselves that are like mom that we're like, I don't want to be like that. There's other things you'll see in your line that you're like, oh, I love that. That's energy I want to bring forward. Then sometimes, your relationship with mom was fine, but grandma was really tough or really hard to deal with, right? I've seen all kinds of dynamics in the people I'm working with. But what I want to underscore is the importance of healing on the mother issues, healing on the father issues as well. But this spring, during this time, if there's something coming up with mom, you know, some of us put our moms on pedestals. Some men have the issue of like they never want to disappoint mom, right? They never want to disappoint, but maybe that keeps them in a box. I've seen that time and again. I've seen men do all kinds of things, dress a certain way, shave when they want to grow a beard, or vice versa, because mom has a judgment about it, right? And so that can really have an impact on all of us. So that's one of the collective messages. I would like to get more, whether it be related to this mother line or maybe our emotional bodies at this time. We're going to go into the Illuminated Earth Oracle and grab another card. All right. Whew, mother issues. I'm going through it, y'all. I'm going through it. And it's heavy stuff. It's heavy stuff. It's tricky. Oh, this one popped up and out. I feel like this always comes up. I don't know. I always pull this card from this deck, but it does kind of have a springy vibe to it. It's got the bunny rabbit in there. We're going to start to see the birds and the bees, flowers and the trees and the bunnies. When I see a rabbit or a bunny rabbit, I'm automatically drawn to productivity, but here we have accomplishment. And we have that this it looks like to me this gentleman is holding a playing card in his hand there. And in one corner of the playing card, it has an ace, and in the other corner, it has a two. It looks like it's two of hearts. So something close to the heart. For some of you, it could be the work that you're doing on the maternal line and you feeling like you are making some traction with that. So that accomplishment. But also, I'm wondering if some of you haven't had a milestone or something that you've achieved, or maybe I'm getting an unrecognized celebration that some of you have. Like you've done something, you've achieved something. Maybe some of you have received raises at work, or you've booked a client, or you've filled a course, or you've done something that I'm wondering if you're not being kind of like a little too humble about it. Like you need to do a little more celebration and maybe share with people what this is. Maybe it's a part of your own healing journey. Now, I know people have different levels of comfort with sharing with others. Some of you may want to share it very publicly. It's part of your business, it's part of how you help people. But others of you, this may be more internal where you celebrate more privately. Maybe it's just you with you doing a celebration, but there's some sort of accomplishment that wants to be recognized. I think the spring season is beautiful for recognizing accomplishments. Heck, I mean, let's recognize ourselves for just making it through winter, okay? We made it through winter. Those of us who do experience like that colder weather or the shifts and patterns, of the pressure changes, we made it through. Okay. The sun is coming out more and more. The days are now longer. We made it through. So, whether this is something very simple for you or something that you really did something great, and I feel like you're holding back, like, or people are like, "Wow, that's amazing." And you're kind of like, "Yeah, yeah." Let it percolate more in you, this accomplishment that you've had. Let it be a celebration. I joined a call the other day, and it's with a woman I've been working with for the past year, and in her mastermind, I guess you could call it, or her community. And I popped on a call. I am completely committed to my business this year. So all of the courses and calls I joined last year, they were so helpful and so amazing. But I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I have to now move the needle on my own business. I know what to do. I know where the resources are. So I'm going to do that. But I popped on her call. And what does she do? She's like, I want Stephanie to share first. And she's like, what are your celebrations, Queen? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a celebration and I'll share it with y'all now. I was able to get the resources I need to help me file my LLC for my business, making it very official. So, Creators on the Crest here is a trade name, a DBA. I do business as Creators on the Crest under the Creator Enterprises LLC. So, yay, and when she asked me, I had that moment of, oh my gosh, what are my celebrations? And then I was like, oh my gosh, I did that. Because to figure out how to do that, to go through the steps it takes, to understand what it means to legally protect yourself, studying law at all is overwhelming, intentionally overwhelming. So that's just my example of like, oh wow, I really did that. And yes, I had celebrated with a few of my close friends and my boyfriend, right? I was like, I did it, I did it, I did it. And there's more steps I'm taking to ensure that everything's in place with that. However, I hadn't shared it with just strangers to say, hey, so I got to share it there and it was a nice reminder. And then I got to share, y'all, this YouTube channel is growing. We're almost at 1,000 creator subscribers. How exciting is that? Oh my gosh. So you're going to see me post a nice little celebration post when we reach our milestones here. It's important to celebrate with each other. So if you're on and you would like to share a celebration, drop it. Is the comments over here for you or over here? I'm not sure. Wherever your comments are, drop it in the comments. If you have just anything from a minor celebration, like you've healed an injury or, something great happened for you, celebrate. We forget sometimes in our world to celebrate because a lot of the news we're being fed is negative. It's not, and it's polarizing. And we forget to have these moments of celebration. It can be something very simple, it can be something big, but having that time to celebrate our accomplishments and how productive we've been in a certain area of our life. And maybe, like I said, for some of you, that's been doing healing. That tends to happen with healing. When you're doing healing work, you're doing it, and then all of a sudden you just start feeling better, right? There's not always that moment of, oh my gosh, I just released that mother wound. There's not always that specific moment that you can key into, right? But along the way, you might say, oh, wow, I feel a lot less triggered about that than I used to feel. That's a celebration. That's showing your progress. And so some of you need to have a moment to do a little bit more of that. Okay. Now, this crystal deck wanted to come out today. So let's get us a crystal to complement these messages that we're getting for the collective here. Whew. And thank you. I saw some party emojis. Yes, this is the spring equinox party celebration. I'm so glad that celebrate came up so you can pop those emojis on there. All right. And what crystal energy. Now, whether you have the physical crystal or not, you can work with crystal energies, okay? You can work with just the energy of them. This is beautiful. I'm going to get two because this one's like, it's like, yeah, this one. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is really interesting. Okay, so these are kind of crystals and stones that I would equate more to like fall, winter, but they're coming up here for a reason. And it might have to do with this accomplishment. It might have to do with us healing the mother wounding. So we got the red jasper. Let me put it over here. This is easier. Take action. So red jasper, a deep red stone, as you can see, and it's a stone to remind you to take action. So whether that's toward healing the maternal line, whether that's more action in celebrating your accomplishments, or you need to do something, this would be your message to go ahead and do it. Now, red is very connected to our root energies, to our tribe. The action that we might be taking could be connected to our communities or possibly our families in some way. So work with red jasper, whether you have the stone or not. You can always just tune into the energies, visualize the coloring on the red jasper, use that red energy. And then along with that, so we got feed your creativity. So I feel like in relationship to the action that we're being called to take, that there are creative energies that are going to fuel and power that action. And carnelian, beautiful orangey stone is lovely to work with us. These are very warming stones. These are root and sacral kind of stones to work with. That might be helpful, actually. Even though seasonally these don't feel like spring stones to me, when it comes to maybe working with mother issues, it could be. And I know Teresa, she knows a lot about the chakra energy balance centers. So the energy centers, the sacral and the root, it could be with healing the mother wounding and feeling comfortable and celebrating ourselves. There could be some stuck energy in those energy centers that needs to be released. This could affect you in your gut health or like just kind of feeling nauseous. I'm getting a nauseous feeling for some people. You may at times feel nauseous. I'm also wondering, because this is coming up for me, I'm getting ready to kind of do a phase 2 of my parasite cleanse. Some of you may be embarking on cleanses. Let's drink a little bit of water to that, okay? Because when we're cleansing, we need to drink more water than we normally would. So some of you may be embarking on that and clearing out the gut, but that may be where you feel it. I also get that sitting outside on the earth or going for a picnic now that it's warmer might be a really nice way to connect and just add a little gentleness to the energies, because some of what we've discussed so far and mother wounding, it's big stuff. I would like to also, oh my gosh, get a card from the messages from your animal spirit guides. So this is for the collective. I love this deck by Stephen D. Farmer. It's a classic, and I've been using it more and more since I just got it. Aw, we got Pueo. I think that's how you say it. The Hawaiian owl, and it says your ancestral spirit guides. There we go. We need that help. I'm getting the tingles, y'all. Are offering you guidance now. So I said play because we all want to play and have fun, but pay close attention to the signs and omens from your ancestral spirit guides. Pueo. Pueo? Pueo? I think it's Pueo. The Hawaiian owl. I've been to Hawaii a few times. I've not seen an owl. I've seen all kinds of other birds. That I'll have to make it my mission to see one of those magical creatures. So I really love that ancestral energy, especially coming up with healing the mother line. That is a very auspicious guide to help us with that, knowing that there are energies in our ancestry that are cheering us on. Maybe they were the ones who tried to better the line. They couldn't do it things have fallen on your shoulders and you're working now to heal those up. And lastly, maybe this is where we'll get our play feeling, because I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of the messages we got are a little more heavy, a little more weighted than the springtime energy that I'm kind of feeling." But we're also in the middle of two eclipses. We're also in the middle of a few retrogrades, so I'm not surprised. And we're going to get a card from the Super Attractor Oracle. This will be some sort of positive affirmation. And again, with the reds and the oranges, true manifesting is about receiving what is for the highest good of all. True manifesting. And I always say when I'm working with people and I'm intending for the messages that we receive in these readings, it's about our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us. And we are included in that, right? So true manifesting is about receiving the highest good for all, right? True manifesting isn't about just you and what you're going to receive. It's about also your service to others and what others are going to be receiving from you. All right, that is amazing. Oh my gosh. Let's get into next the breakout readings that I'm going to do today. So I'm going to explain those. I am going to set these oracle cards aside for the collective energies. We're going to let those be. And the breakout readings today. Okay, so since we're in between these two eclipses, and we've got retrogrades going on. Last week's Frequency Friday had a lot of information too about the astrology, and the breakout readings were on Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde. I did a little thing on that. So you can go check that out. That still applies, okay? That a lot of that still applies. We're still in this time. We're still in this energy. So when I tuned into the energies of the equinox and I saw how it landed in between these eclipses and everything, I thought, well, what are people dealing with? And it was like, well, Stephanie, people are dealing with all sorts of different stuff because of their life path and their journey and their level of healing and their level of evolution. They're in different places here with it. So some people are going through, and you can be, here's the other kicker. You can be going through multiple different phases in different areas of your life. So in relationships, you're dealing with one phase, and in career, you're dealing with another phase, right? So this can overlap too into different phases. And that's why right now it's like, whoa, like to really ride the crest of the wave, which is what creators on the crest do, to really stand on the peak of the mountain, right? And have that vision. We think about all the energies we're having to navigate and how those can be very conflicting at times or very different, or in one area of our life we're having an ending and in another area we're having a beginning. So what we're going to go in today, I want to try to get into the subtle energies of these phases for us. We're going to go through ending. So those of you who feel like you're going through an ending, okay, you're going through a finality, a closure to something, you're going through that, the final steps, the closing cycle, we're going to do a reading for you. And then we're going to go into what I call the pivot energy. Okay. So maybe there is some phase in some area of your life where you are pivoting. Okay. You've looked back, and the equinox in the spring, this is like the New Year's, right? The energy right now for you looking forward 12 months is good, right? And looking forward planning. But to do so, you're also looking back, seeing how far you've come, right? In the last 12 months. So some of you are in this pivot energy between the last year, and we're going to say from the last spring equinox to now. All right. And where are you going to be at the next? And you're pivoting, right? You're changing something. This worked last year. It won't work this year. That's the kind of things. This relationship worked great last year. Now we have to, we're going to sign off on that. We're not going to be in contract together or anything like that, right? Okay, so pivoting, whether it be relationships, job, creative energies, whatever it is. And then also beginnings. So we're going to go from ending reading to a pivot reading to a beginning reading. So those of you who are taking your initial steps, you're growing a business, you're in a new relationship. This is a new cycle for you. Perhaps you've healed something big and you're in a new cycle now where you're learning new things, the beginnings energy. So that'll be our third. And then our fourth reading. And I got this and I thought, ooh, this is so cool because we're going to work with 0 point energy in the fourth breakout reading today. And 0 point energy is kind of that energy of everything is happening everywhere all at once. Okay. It really taps into your multidimensional being, your multidimensional self. And we're really looking for we're going to strip away some of the illusion. And we're really looking for when you're at 0 point, it's that place that you can see everything so clearly. You see the past, the present, the future all at once. And you just are that. There's no trick to it. You just are that energy, right? So that is what we're going to go into on the fourth reading. So that's going to be really exciting. So breakout readings today, endings, 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 endings. Okay. Now, endings can be good endings too, right? They can really be good. Today, I have this. What's interesting is I have the After Tarot, which takes the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot and shows you the cards like a moment after the initial artist depiction of the card. But I don't have the Before Tarot yet. I'm wanting to get that one. So for the endings, we're going to look at the after because I want to get into, okay, so what have we ended? And what does it look like now? So we're going to go into the After Tarot and pull a few cards, and then we'll clarify with one of our just typical card decks here. But look how pretty. Look at this beautiful lilies, very springy. I had no idea. I just opened this today. I've never worked with this deck. I've seen it worked with, but I've never worked with it myself. Ooh, I thought we were going to get something like that. I thought we were going to get something like that. I felt that coming in today. Okay. All right. Okay, our endings. So we're in, for those of you, let me get the timestamp. Let me get the timestamp here. I should have done that. For those of you who are working with an ending, closing out a cycle, you're taking the final steps. We're going to look at the energies here, okay? We're going to look at this and we're going to say, what's going on with you now here? What's going on with you? So the first card we got, for those of you going through the ending of a cycle, is the Fool. The Fool is a beginning card. The Fool is the 0 card. And it's interesting because I feel like those of you who are going through an ending of sorts right now, whether it be a relationship, a job, just a way you think about things, your energies are overlapped into the beginning. So you probably will want to check out the beginning reading too. And this often happens. We don't always have a clear cut, like, this is the end, this is the beginning. It's not so black and white. There's all this movement that happens in between, right? And so here's the after effect. So the Fool in its original position, he's standing up on top of the ledge, getting ready to step off it. And here he stepped off it, but he's got one hand holding onto the ledge. The dog is like, "What the heck are you doing?" as Blaze is barking outside because Mimi's here. When grandma comes, Mimi, maternal line, Blaze gets very excited. Okay, so the Fool has dropped the knapsack here, dropped some of the resources, and is sniffing and smelling the roses. So, in the ending that some of you are going through right now, you are feeling and enticed by the aroma of a new beginning. Okay. So, this springtime energy, you're like, I'm ready to start fresh. But there's still something you're holding on to from the end of the cycle, as the fool is still holding on to the ledge here. Will he let go? Will she let go? Will you pull yourself back up on the ledge and just be in that ending energy a little bit more? That's really up to you. It's also really interesting to see that it almost looks like there's ground under the ledge, like there's like a ground that the fool, like the ledge wasn't that tall after all. So, for those of you going through an ending and you're just ready for things to be over, I think this is about letting you know it's your new beginning, and your stability and your ability to move forward in that new beginning is not that far away. Okay. It's not that far away. So be assured. And if you are holding on to some of those ending energies, you just might want to take a look at why you're holding on to them. And the reason I say that is because I feel like there may be value in something. Maybe there's something you learned. The Queen of Pentacles comes in here. In the original depiction, she has the pentacle in her lap. But in this depiction, the after, she holds it up high. She's looking at it. She's observing it. She's analyzing it in some way. She's possibly learning from it, maybe possibly celebrating a bit with this. So maybe some of you are going through endings, incorporating a celebration of some kind, of raising a toast to yourself here. This is something that it does feel practical. It feels real world energy. So as something ends, what is the best of what you've taken from it? For those of you who've done deep healing work in a certain area, and this is something Teresa and I got into with the Real Life Mages episode 5 that's coming out, I'm plugging it again. Be sure to watch for it. Is that beautiful gifts. Beautiful gifts can come out of our willingness to let things go, our willingness to let cycles in. And sometimes, it's as if the universe pushed us off that ledge. But there are beautiful gifts that can come out of painful experiences. And I think that's what some of you are dealing with in the endings. And you're still looking at that. You're taking a moment with it. And look what we have here. Down here, we have the rabbit. Again, we got the rabbit in the collective reading. This is what I mean. The Queen of Pentacles energy is slower moving. Pentacles are slower moving, patient energy, but we have like the jackrabbit running at full speed. This is what I mean about sandwiched in these delicious eclipse energies, as Molly McCord so eloquently stated, right? We're definitely in the middle of this, and there are things moving, and then there are things that are still, and we're dealing with all that. So those of you closing out cycles, there's going to be times where you're feeling like, yeah, I'm really making momentum toward my new beginning. And there may be other moments where you're like, but why am I looking back on this energy? Why am I feeling a certain way? Why am I thinking of that person again? Why am I maybe even reverting back into the pattern that you're trying to let go of? And taking some time with that, being patient with yourself here and that, even as the energies quickly want to pull you forward, because you're going to feel that. We're also going from the Pisces into the Aries energy at this time here. We're transitioning here, right? We're ending a zodiac cycle and beginning a new one here. All right. Now, for many of you, this is relating to this Six of Pentacles. This is the exchange of your time, your energy, your resources. Okay. And in the original depiction, it is people that are kneeling down, and he is gifting them, like dropping coins down. In this particular depiction, the people are upright. Some of them have been gifted and they are walking away. and an older elderly energy is coming in for the gift. So as we're going through the endings with this elderly person coming in, kind of a hunched over and, asking for some pentacles, asking for some resources, time, and energy. I feel like that's how you give credit to the wisdom that you've gained. I was picking up the wisdom you've gained with that Queen of Pentacles, and I think we have it again here. I think there's wisdom gained for how you're going to exchange energy moving forward in your relationships, in your business. And, having just spent yesterday a lot of time editing in front of the computer, homeschooling my kids, right? Having like, a 10-hour day. That's not why I didn't leave the corporate world to work 10-hour days, right? I left to have more freedom and more flexibility. And some of you are moving through letting that cycle go. And honestly, it took me 2 years just to recover from working in the energies of the corporate world and envisioning and experiencing life outside of that structure. Some of you are really dealing with this. So it took me time to integrate, to receive and integrate the wisdom, because there was a lot of like, why did I waste time doing that for so long? That's not my true soul's calling. That's not what I'm aligned with. So for some of you, pentacles would indicate work related. For others of you, health, and I'm getting pain bodies for some of you, physical pain, nerves. Some of you have maybe fibromyalgia. That's coming up, like constant pain, back pain for some of you, and bringing an ending to that. Perhaps you're giving now more to the wisdom you've gained so that you're making positive choices and you're able to exchange, yet keep in balance. He holds a scale in the background, keeping in balance enough for yourself. So having enough for yourself and being able to give, that's when we're working through pain, physical pain or emotional pain. I'm getting a lot of physical pain for some of you. Could have been injuries, could have been, maybe some of you are, another thing I'm getting is that some of you are trying to wean off certain medications and maybe do things more naturally. It is a process, y'all. Consult your professionals, of course. I am not a health professional, but I know what I sense in the energies, and that is that there are things here that physically you're releasing, physically you're changing. Some of you are actually to the point where you are shifting your DNA. Okay, your DNA is changing. So I'm getting that vibe in here too. Let's get some more cards here. I want to go with the Gilded Tarot Royale here. And this will show the pictures, the Rider-Waite-Smith interpretation via this artist. This is by Ciro Marchetti. And let me see here. What does it say? I can't see it. The text by Barbara Moore and Ciro Marchetti. So very brilliant cards here. Let's get a few clarifiers. Okay, so we had the Fool, the Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, and endings. Endings are in progress. There's not that clear cut. Ooh, this one fell out. Okay. Yep. The energies are overlapping here for sure. The energies are overlapping. And for clarification here, for those of you going through endings, we got the Two of Wands. This is a looking forward to, feeling the energy behind a new beginning, but you haven't quite passed through the portal yet. Imagine those two wands are like a gateway or a portal that you must walk through. We have the white buck calling you forth. We've got, guess what? We've got a squirrel here, but we also have another rabbit. Some of you, it might be a little challenging because you're feeling the passion, you're feeling the fire. Maybe your creative forces are coming online. For those of you that are out of pain, like a certain kind of pain has been overcome or shifted, you're now like, wow, okay, that energy can be replaced now with something better, brighter, more aligned with me, that I'm drawn to this. I want to do something here, but you're not quite doing it yet. Okay, you may not quite be doing it yet. And by not quite doing it, I just mean that the physical manifestation of it may not be at your doorstep quite yet, but the energies are here for you to work with. And so you're seeing the light through the darkness. Look at that stormy sky at the top of the card, and the sun is breaking through. You know you're preparing to go on this next journey. You're going to be walking a trail that looks pretty easy for a minute, but then you're going into the mountains, right? And so you know that as you've completed one, yes, the Queen reminds us, let's celebrate. And the Six of Pentacles, let's really work on identifying and embodying the wisdom that we have gained from the experience. And let's, yeah, at the same time, let's look at how we're going to move forward. How is this going to come together? Now, then we have the Chariot here. This particular Chariot, and in some decks, the Chariot is depicted as in motion. In this deck, it is still, in most of it, it is still with the Sphinxes on either side, usually black and white, but in this case, gold and silver. Very interesting. It reminds me of that little Girl Scout song, Make New Friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. And I feel like this is being friends with the wisdom you've gained. This is nurturing that wisdom that you've gained and knowing that something different is on the horizon for you. You may not be moving fully into that energy quite yet. The Chariot here, I feel, is still prepared, but still, okay? And so the Chariot is connected to the number 7. That means things are in motion, even when they're still. It's that law of vibration, right? That alchemical law of vibration. There's still energy moving, even when you feel like you may not be moving fully forward into these energies quite yet. With these pentacles showing up for you, utilize patience, incorporate the wisdom that you've learned. Yes, you are going to be smelling the roses. You're going to be appreciating life. You're going to be celebrating as you kind of have one foot in the end and another foot in the beginning and everything in between, right? So the patience, Cancer energy is connected to the Chariot, tenacity. So you're here. And you're not giving up on on this lighted path that you see moving forward. All right, because we are here to evolve. We are here to evolve, not de-evolve, not like stop completely, right? We're here to evolve, but we are also working with these. Remember, I said at the very beginning, I want to capture some of the subtle energies of these, what it means to go through an ending. And it's not the black and white, like that's over. Sure, things like that happen. Like somebody could pack up and move out in a day. You could have like a roommate or a partner, they pack up and leave, you come home, they're gone, right? But even that is not a black and white ending. There are energies all connected up into someone doing that. You could quit your job. You could say, I quit today. Boom, ending. But there's still energy. There's still repercussions. There's still things that are falling into place. So understand that. Honestly, it feels like those of you dealing with an ending, you're pretty well down the path. It feels pretty nice to me. It just feels like you're ready for more of the beginning energy, and there's still wisdom that you're incorporating from the end of something. I have to get you a card from the Super Attractor Oracle because we need an affirmation. We need a reminder. We need some good juju here for those of us dealing with endings. So you get wanting more for others puts me into an energy of abundance. Interesting. This to me, again, the red, this is kind of taking me back to some of the collective energies that were coming up. And the card that we got is very similar. When we're manifesting, it's about receiving what is for the highest good of all. I mean, there's all different color cards in these decks, and these two red ones come out like this so far. That's amazing to me. Wanting more for others, right? Even if even if the other was connected to a painful experience, right? That's when it's tough. When the other has betrayed you or hurt you or done something wrong, and at the same time, like, you're not going to be in that kind of a relationship again. You're not going to have those kinds of exchanges. Even if it was a hard ending to a relationship, you can still find it in you once you've done the healing to want more for that person. Maybe they're just not going to accomplish it with you. Maybe they're not going to accomplish it this lifetime. Maybe it's just not the right circumstance, right? It's not the best timing for them, but you can still want the energy of more for them. And that puts you in that beautiful state of abundance. Okay? So that's where we want to be. We want to be in a state of abundance going into a new beginning, right? I mean, we want to be in a state of abundance all the time, but I think some of you are coming out of painful patterns or painful physical issues that actually you did not feel you were in a state of abundance. And there's going to be those times in life, so we can understand the contrast. And that's the thing about the subtle energies of beginnings and endings. They're always cycling around us, right? There's a lot of momentum. There's a lot of stillness, right? And we have these contrasts, and it can be really tricky to navigate. But hopefully in that reading about endings, there was some messages that resonated with some of you. I need a drink of water before we pivot into the pivot reading next. All right, for our pivot reading, this is about those of you that feel like you're caught in these swirling, changing, topsy-turvy kind of energies right now. Okay, so we're going to go to the Crystal Visions Tarot and get some cards for you. This one is by, who's this by? Jennifer Galasso. And I love this deck. It's got softer colors, got springy kind of colors on it. And we're going to go into those of you dealing with pivot energy. Things are swirling, changing, turning, topsy-turvy, maybe feeling a little bit up in the air. I'm starting to get really a lot of stuff in my throat for this one. So I don't know who y'all are, but we're going to find out, aren't we? Oh, yeah. Okay, so whew, it's interesting in the pivot energy. So when we think about pivot, it's kind of like the energy of I'm going to stop doing this and I'm going to start doing that, right? I'm going to pivot. We think of like a 180, somebody doing like a 180. But even in a pivot energy, there can be a pace that is slow, a pace that is fast. It's interesting. There is, in this reading starting off, I feel a lot more energy of momentum than I did with the ending. The ending felt like there was still stillness and reflection and those kinds of things going on, but the desire for the momentum. In this, I feel the momentum, but it's being worked with in a very responsible way. And I'll show you why I say that. We've got the Three of Wands here. Wands are fire energy. Fire is transformative. Fire is passion. Okay, so that energy gives me the feeling of warmth. If you think about warming up molecules, they start speeding up, right? I'm feeling that energy. It's almost like the people that are in this pivot energy right now, they're like boiling water, like bringing water warmer and warmer and warmer, and the molecules, the water molecules get excited and they start, doing their thing and changing, and vibrating, right? That's this Three of Wands here. And there's something very precious that you've accepted as part of your journey. As I see her holding this beautiful orb, there's something very precious that you want to share with the world, that you want to uncover with the world here. And the energies toward that are beginning to boil, they're beginning to build. Look at the little baby dragon we have here. So if we imagine this character to be like a dragon rider, but the baby dragon is not ready for a rider yet. So this pivot energy, it hasn't taken off yet, but it's something very precious that you are planning to do. All right. So you're turning. You're in this turn, and whatever this is, it feels very sacred, special, and precious to you. So for those of you who are in these swirling energies that are twirling and swirling, you're holding on to something very dear and very precious. And it gives you a lot of insight. This pivot energy for this group, I'm feeling like you're getting a lot of insight on yourself. You're getting a lot of insight on who you are from the inside out, what you hold dear and precious. What are your non-negotiables? What are you willing to flex on? What are you not? Right? And so there's this, you're shifting into that. Some of you have figured that out and you're shifting into that. Now I want to bring up the other Wands energy. We got the Page of Wands. So this is a graduation from maybe some of these more starting energies in our baby dragon to now we have an adolescent with an adolescent dragon here. And these are things maybe that you're putting down. Some of you, if you're getting ready to share something, you're going to launch a product or you're going to launch a course or a membership, or you're going to apply. Some of you are applying for a job, a new job, something that you can use your gifts, talents, and abilities better toward. Some of you, this is simply you exploring a new hobby, and that feels nice. So in your spare time, I know most people will say, I don't have any spare time, but some of you are making time for a new hobby and you're beginning to create. Maybe you've had several iterations. I'm kind of thinking of somebody like crocheting or knitting or learning a skill like that, maybe painting, where you've had it several iterations and you're kind of growing into the way that you express through art. So we have kind of the younger energy, really holding the vision well. And then we have the more adolescent energy, which brings testing and curiosity. It's kind of like a training ground kind of energy for your passion project, whatever this is for you. And right in the middle, we have the Hermit. We have the Hermit energies, and I love how it's depicted in this deck. It kind of gives me Fool vibes because the Hermit's on the edge of a cliff, right? It's kind of like, oh, we're pivoting, but we haven't jumped off into the new quite yet. We haven't launched. Our dragon has not taken flight. Our consciousness has not fully taken flight on this yet. But I love the fairy. I love the illumination and the darkness here. This is all about you gathering up your inner wisdom. This is connected to Virgo energy. This is the number 9. This is where we're checking things. We're like, okay, we're in this pivot and we have the vision of the direction we're going and we're growing into it. But this is also a time for me. It's a time for me to be comfortable with these energies. It's a time for me to take up this hobby for myself because it feels good, because I know it to be something that is going to help me. And if I'm fulfilled and sustained from the inside out, I will be able to shine my light all the brighter, trust my intuition all the better, and take the leap off this ledge when I'm ready, right? So pivot energy, very interesting. There's the threads of energy coming through as we're in between these two eclipses. the Aries and the Pisces energy and all of this. It's like there's these threads of like calm and peace and patience, and then there's these threads of no, we must move now, and they're all intersecting here, and it's like blowing my mind. Oh my goodness. Okay. I want to go to the after tarot here. We're going to blend the after tarot into this one too. And I want to ask for people that are in a pivot, they're changing something up, they're taking up maybe like a new hobby, pivoting some of their time, pivoting some of their energy. How can they best navigate this growth? Because I do feel the growth here. How can the growth best be navigated? Ah, ooh, okay. All right. So, those of you who are pivoting, how are you going to support your energy? How are you going to support your growth? How are you going to protect the sanctity of what you have planned, of what your vision is here, of what your passion is? And I really like the energies I'm seeing here. We've got the 10 of Wands. Now, in the 10 of Wands, when the artist originally depicted it, the character was holding all the wands up in front of them. They couldn't see. It was a burden. It was weighing them down. Okay. And look how many wands this one has dropped. Some of you are pivoting. Some of you are niching down. Some of you are focusing your energy on fewer things. Like this has happened with me. I have really pivoted this year. And instead of trying to post on TikTok, trying to post on, when TikTok wasn't there, on Red Note, then trying to go here, trying to do that. Like, I'm like, what? I can't focus on all those ones. That's too much. What is going to help me the most? Focusing on my YouTube channel, driving people to the YouTube channel, focusing my energy on my audience here, right? That's just one example. Some of you that are pivoting are doing similar things. You're honing in on, and you're saying, you know what? I'll just go ahead and drop all that other stuff that's weighing me down. Some of you may have been spending time like on social media, doom scrolling, the doom scroll stuff. And you're like, you know what? No, I'm going to pick up the paintbrush. I'm going to pick up the paintbrush instead. I'm going to drop all that other distraction that I had, right? I'm going to let that go. This is a release. And in order for us to go into the next phase, even if we're not ready, fully ready for the flight, like maybe we're painting, knitting, crocheting, but we're not ready to go to the art fair yet and sell our products, right? But we're letting go of something that was burdening us, whether it be on our mind, on our body, something maybe taxing on the body for some of you. Mind, body, soul connection here. And we're going to hold on to one wand. Now we may need a minute here. We're letting some other things go. We have to see how those can kind of filter out, right? That's pivoting energy. When you're pivoting, some things are just not going to get the attention anymore. Maybe this was a draining friend. One of these wands was a draining friend or person that just isn't aligning with your energy at this current time. You had to let go, worrying about connecting with them or talking hours on end to them and being a spiritual nurse or something like that, right? So some of these energies are being let go. And so there's this kind of like whoa, I was carrying a lot, I was carrying the load. Maybe some of you are asking for help at home with the cleaning, with the responsibilities, sharing some of those burdens there so that you can focus on the one thing, right? But again, he's sitting down, he's not taking this wand and running yet, and neither is the page. But the Knight of Wands will eventually take it. So that's where you that are doing the pivoting, that's where you're headed. You're headed into the momentum, but get, we're here to experience life. We're here to experience the depth of these cycles and these phases that we go through. Let it be okay for you to be in that energy for a while. The other energy coming up for those of you pivoting is the Four of Cups. Now, in the Four of Cups card, there's a hand coming out of the card. The universe is offering the cup to the character. And here, they're taking the cup and pouring it out. No, There is some sort of emotional energy that no longer serves you. It was part of your learning experience in the past. Whatever you're pivoting away from, there was an emotional energy that you were attached to that was serving you. And you had your attention on that. Even if you weren't actively involved, it had your attention and now you're letting it go. This is a card here that's showing we're going to let it go. We're going to move some of these emotions. The Four of Cups would move us into the Five of Cups, where you'll see more letting go like this. There is still maybe some grief that will be processed as a result of this, but first we have to make the decision. Some of you could have been ignoring grief that needed to be processed, and now you're willing to go through the process of grief. That could have something to do with this. Could have something to do with one of the wands that you've dropped or let go, something that was distracting you, letting it go now. You're going to begin to free up some emotions here. It's going to be a cycle, right? It's going to put you through maybe the cycles that have been needing to turn for you during this time, but you're making a decision about it. You're making a decision about it. It affects you emotionally. And honestly, the energy feels really good there. Okay. For our pivot team, I want to get a card from the messages from your animal spirit guides to close off this reading. Nope. Gotta let that energy come. I think it's this one here popping up. Oh, we got the domestic kitty cat. It's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your over dependency on others. It's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your over dependency on others. Wow. Yeah. So some of you may have been depending on a situation in your life, depending on a person to do something that they weren't doing, right? Because I got that maybe you were carrying a burden, or maybe it became too burdensome to be overly dependent on someone else. For some of you, this pivoting energy almost feels like walking again, learning to walk, learning to ride a bike, learning to land on your own feet without the influence of others. Remember, you have something very precious that you're holding inside of you, that you're holding as your vision. It's growing. You may not feel prepared to strike out here. And I think that's part of it sometimes, is that we have to get comfortable with the energy of, oh my gosh, I'm pivoting. This is scary. Can I really do this? And we're running through all the questions in our mind. But is that really keeping us moving in the direction that we're pivoting toward? And some of you are definitely getting confirmation here. You hold something very precious to share. It's growing, like the talent, the gift, the ability, the time for it, it's all growing. It is moving. You are pivoting into having more space from that. There's emotional energies being released. There's burdens being released. And this is going to be more uniquely you coming forward. So, okay. That's a good pivot. As we pivot, because pivots often come with the lessons, right? As we pivot, we're learning to let go of the things that weren't serving us, but we'd already been down the path of trying them, right? So that's why the change feels like it does, right? All right. We're going to get into those of you who are feeling the beginning energy. You're feeling the spring energy. Maybe you feel like a spring chicken, right? Or a little chick being born into these new, warmer energies. This is the initial steps. This is a new cycle that you're embarking on here. And so, with the beginnings, I want to see what this is related to. We're going to use, since I don't have the before tarot, we're going to use the after again, because I kind of want to see where you came from and where you're going with these energies here. So one of these days when I get the before tarot, I'll do some like exclusive readings just with both, because it would be really cool to see. But I want to see what you're stepping into here. So the after will show me where you're coming from, what you're stepping into. What are those creators who are dealing with new beginnings stepping into today? Oh my, chaos? Are you stepping in? What in the world? All right. No, not chaos. Okay, don't get scared here. All right, these are good signs here. So you're stepping into shaking shit up is what you're doing. Okay, so you've got a new beginning here. It's striking, it's powerful. It's gonna rock the house. I feel like, I'm at like the rock concert, like right before the band comes out on stage and is like, dun, and you're like kind of like that energy is like building, building, building. So those of you going through in the beginning, man, this feels powerful. It feels like I'm on the edge of my seat. I literally am. I'm scooted up in my seat here. I'm like, let's see what this is. This is going to blow your mind. This is going to rock your world. That's what this tower energy is giving me here. And it's funny that I'm getting the rock and the music. For some of you, it may be music. You may be musicians, and you may be putting a band together. You may be going to your first gig or whatever. So there could be some of that energy absolutely expressed in music. You could be getting on stage for your first performance, right? And so this is quite a shocking new beginning. I think maybe for some of you, people are going to be surprised at your power. Some people are going to be surprised at your strength, right? Of what you've been through, what it took to get there. And, normally the tower shows like the people free falling. This person landed on the ground, right out of the tower. And so we're kind of seeing, the progression of this. But I feel like it's in a good way. I feel like, oh my gosh, like for some of you, you're comedians and your jokes are like landing. They're really landing hard, or you just you're one of those people who make people laugh, and people literally laugh until they cry and are like on the ground, right? So this to me feels like a really powerful, strong, rock your world, blow your mind, shaking shit up kind of energy. It actually feels good. It almost feels like the height of summer energy. So it's interesting how, seasonally speaking, these are kind of overlapping. Now, in the middle of this, so I pulled 3 cards, right? In the middle of this, those of you with the new beginning, remember this was in the pivot energy too. Pivots can bring, new beginning. We're doing something new. We got this 10 of Wands again. This is such an important depiction for this go around, for the energies that we're sandwiched in right now. These eclipse energies are letting us know, what is it you can really, like, what do you really need to grab onto and hold on to? And what can you let go? What can you let go? Because there are burdens here. Going into a new beginning, that's just too much to carry. It'll slow you down, it'll stop you, right? So, what is the essence of what you need to carry forward? What is going to move the dial for you into this new beginning? Lighten your load. Lighten your load. Don't overdo it here. Don't try to take on too much. One of the things, especially if you're dealing with something in business, it's to under promise and over deliver. You don't want to over promise and then not be able to fulfill. And you don't want to do that to yourself either. Like, I've done this to myself a lot. Like, I'm like, okay, planning out my week. And then I think I can get more done than I actually can. And over the past year, I know I've really looked at that and said, what's realistic for me to get done in one day? So as I plan out each week or each 90 days or whatever, I really have to think, okay, what all will how much time needs to go towards everything? And let's be realistic. Like, in a day, I might not be able to do all my recording, have a full workout, cook dinner for the family. There's certain things I won't be able to do all in one day. And I think some of you are really looking at that angle When you go into your new beginning, something to do with planning, you are lightening your load. You maybe got some relief in a certain area so that you can focus more on this one thing. Again, I get that sense. Some of you are niching down, you're becoming more focused here, and these contrasting energies are bringing you to that point of more focus. And then you got the World card, which is interesting here because the World card normally connected to an ending. It's very similar. Like what I'm noticing here is this card is very similar to the typically depicted World card. And I actually, like, in my mind, I'm like, what is even the difference? And I think maybe this is the point. I don't think it's something like Stephanie doesn't know about tarot. I think it has to do with, and there are things I'm still learning about tarot. And I've been reading tarot for 20 years. I'm still learning. That's why I love it as an art and science. It is so fascinating. It evolves with us. This actually evolves as we evolve. It's so crazy. I love it. Okay, so the point here is there is ending and beginning happening at once. There are overlapping energies here. But in this particular case, I want you to look at the corners of the card. We have the cup, the sword, the pentacle, the wand. The elements for this cycle that you've just been through have been mastered. Okay? Remember, and the magician card, the magician is holding the wand of the ether, one of them, in exchange for working with the elements. But the magician is card number 1. This is 21. So we're dropped into this world with the Fool. And I was having a vision of this last night. Like I was literally, as I was falling asleep, the Fool card was like coming alive, and I was seeing it, like, the Fool jump off the cliff and land into this 3D reality. And here we are. We were born these magical, innocent beings, and we have all of this, knowledge and wisdom. We're coming from the stars. We're coming from somewhere else. And we're dropped in, and we're immediately locked down by, you have to do things this way. So we're given a wand by our parents, by society, and you got to do it this way. And it takes our attention off how we are to learn with the elements. But in the World card, this indicates, since you're at the end of the cycle, you've mastered the elements, and now you have not earned not only one wand of the ether, but 2. So you're coming into this new beginning fully equipped, having balanced the energies of the previous cycle out. And that is, to me, is fascinating. So the World, it's an ending card, but it's also a beginning, right? It ushers you in, and we've got the wreath that the character is moving through. The character is nude or lightly covered, meaning there's a vulnerability as we move into a new beginning. You may feel vulnerable at times, yet you're fully equipped. You're fully equipped to handle this new beginning. All right, let's go to the Gilded Tarot Royale and get a couple more cards. Interesting energies for our beginning, people. For some of you, it does feel like being seen, being on stage. Some of you may be dropping the fears around being seen, being heard, being well received, but you're coming out thumping. The drums are kicking and the guitar is tuned here, What else does this? Yes. Okay. For those of you in this new beginning, I was asking, what else do you need to know? Some of you have, and I think this is a reality of something that we're dealing with. Hello, Prosperity Road. Welcome. I am doing a reading on people who are experiencing the beginning of a cycle in their life. And so here with the 7 of Swords, this is a learning. It's an understanding that you can't just trust everyone. And it's interesting because I just heard one of my mentors, He made a little reel the other day, and he was talking about the reality of building your business, or, building your company, or developing products and things like that, right? And that the reality is you cannot trust everyone. You can't trust everyone because not everyone is trustworthy. So, those of you starting on a new beginning, if you're signing contracts, especially during this sandwiched eclipse energy with the retrogrades, be very careful. Read all the fine print. Don't get scammed. Don't get scammed. Be extra cautious about emails. Don't be clicking on things. That's what this Seven of Swords is warning, kind of, for those of you experiencing new beginning, because you're in excited energy. And some of you are getting attention for this, excited energy. But not everybody has your best interests in mind. And you're being reminded of that, right? So you got to do you, boo. You got to do you. And you got to be happy and proud because you're like bringing the house down. You're rocking it, right? There's going to be people that are jealous of what you're doing, you know? Judgmental, jealous, don't have your best interests in mind, to the degree of maybe even at times wanting to scam you. Or this is about imbalanced energy, where maybe one person is getting away with 5 swords and just kind of leaving you with 2. What? That's not, should be more equal. I don't think you've just come out of this cycle fully equipped with all this knowledge and wisdom only to get scammed or even disappointed. I mean, some of you have really good trusting hearts, you know, but you can't trust everybody with your precious heart, right? So make sure you have this knowing. Make sure that you are looking at things under the microscope a little bit more right now, with people's intentions. Ask questions. When you're not sure, you can always ask questions. And as you ask those questions, more can be revealed. Some of you, this could be, taking place in relationships. Like if your new beginning is you're out dating again, you know, let's make sure we're not in that desperate feeling place where we're just going to trust what anyone says, or we're going to jump right in. We're going to take time to get to know somebody. We're going to ask a lot of questions. We're going to date for a while. We're not going to jump right in, right, to a relationship. It's just, it's not a good time for that. Let this beginning be about you knowing that you mastered these elements and that you have 2 wands of the ether with which to take your next part of the journey. And you don't want anybody to take those because you have mastered the elements to get those. That's the whole journey of the tarot. Through being locked down, coming into this world with your innocence, and then having that stripped away, and being told how to live and what to do, instead of being taught how to learn and explore the world, right? You've come through all that heaviness, right? You've come through all that heaviness. There's that 10 of wands. Do not pick back up more burdens at the beginning of this cycle. I do feel a more cautionary energy for those of you dealing with new beginnings. Do not pick back up the burdens that you worked so hard to let go in the last cycle. And don't pick up a new set of, balance your energy, balance your time, balance your responsibilities. Don't just trust anyone. Be more cautious with these energies here. This is precious. This is you. This is your journey, right? Not everybody's going to understand that. Not everybody's going to have your best interests in mind. You want to enjoy your hike through the woods here, right? So we can't be carrying. I know some of you carry heavy backpacks because you're hikers and you challenge yourself. That's one thing, okay? Some of you may be doing that. Since that came up for me, I have a friend, she's an avid hiker, and she carries a heavy pack when she goes. She does, like, Appalachia Trails type stuff. That may be you, okay? So that may be part of this, part of what but the burdens of the things that aren't serving you, don't pick those back up. Okay, don't pick those back. But if you're a hiker, by all means, challenge yourself. And some of you have little dogs, little pets, and they're kind of wild and hyper on their walks, and you put a little weighted backpack on them, and then they kind of calm down and follow your lead better. That's some of you may be dealing with little pets too that you're training. That's cute. Got a lot. There's a lot going on in this new beginning, so I'm not surprised. These energies are kind of like, woo, woo. All right. I want a message from the Super Attractor Oracle for our beginning group here to close off this particular part of the reading. And thank you all for popping on today. Jason, Bill, Tressa, Prosperity Road. Thank you all for commenting, for saying hi in the comments. I saw some emojis come through. I love that. Thank you. If you're watching on the replay, please make sure you've liked this video. Make sure that if you're a subscriber, you've hit the notification bell for all notifications. That way you won't miss these when they come up. Just my little plug and reminder here. Okay, for our beginners here, beginning into something new. When I live and act from a place of spiritual alignment, I can trust that everything is working out for me, even if I don't know when or how it will happen. Yes, when you're embarking on a new beginning, there's a lot of unknown. You certainly have learned things from the previous cycle, and you have a lot more wisdom. You have a lot more embodiment moving into this next cycle. But there is that trust that you don't know when or how it will happen. So you want to make sure you're in alignment, right? You want to make sure that you trust that gut instinct. If somebody is trying to scam you, you just don't get a good feeling about somebody. You want to be careful not to pick up burdens. Stay challenged, but don't pick up extra burdens. And trust that everything is working out for you. And that's a wonderful, just a little shortened version of that. Everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for my highest and best good. Everything is working out for my highest and best good, and everyone connected to me, right? You can kind of go through those affirmational energies for yourself, and that will really like lighten your mood. That's what affirmations are great for: resetting, lightening your mood a little bit, especially when things feel heavy. You can have a little fun. You can sing and dance your affirmations. I love doing that. I'll put music on and, and get picking my affirmation and just kind of have a little movement, a little fun with it. Instead of just, saying it like a robot, I'm actually embodying it through like moving my body. And I'm getting, for some of you, that's really important as well. Okay, we are heading into this most interesting and mysterious final reading, our 0 point reading. So y'all know most of you know, if you're an OG creator here, you know that I am a sci-fi. I like sci-fi fantasy stuff. I like all the cheesy stuff. And one of my favorites is like Stargate. I love Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis. Those are the two I like the most. I know there's some others and stuff, but they have in Stargate Atlantis what is called the 0 point module, and it's like an energy in a little thing that looks like it's like little glass crystal things, right? So it's like this orangey red kind of colors like we got on the crystals in the collective reading. 0 point module, and it powers like the city of Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis. But you actually need like 3 of them. Okay, but lots of power in one little module. And I'm sure, they have figured that out, but we're still paying the electric companies, Tesla, all that. Okay, anyway, I digress. We're going to go to 0 point, and this is the point where everything is happening, past, present, and future. We're aware of everything. Okay, we're aware of what is going on around us. We're aware of what has come before. We're aware of where things are going. These can be described as like, this reading is about those times, those moments, those energies where we're super present and super lucid, and we can see it all. We can see the timelines, we can see the energies, we see the soup, right? We see what's going on. We're in the womb of creation. We're in the Empress's garden, right? We're in there and we're at 0 point, and it's just pure power, energy moving through us. It's a personalized experience. It's an internal experience for everyone. You'll be able to see where you've come from, where you're going, etc. So we're going to go with this Crystal Visions deck because I love that it's called Crystal Visions. We're going to see what we can see when we're in this 0 point energy. And how do we know? Remember, I said it's like lucid. Some of you are having lucid dreams. You're at 0 point in that. Some of you just maybe have those moments where you recognize and realize, and it may not even be a knowing, it may just be a feeling. It could be a knowing for some of you. Bonjour, Derek. Hello. Y'all check out Awaken Your Mind. Check out that channel. Derek does amazing. First of all, he does amazing content, and he and Leslie Powers interview people. Your mind will be blown, y'all. You definitely want to go check out that channel for sure. I love the content. Derek does all this cool stuff with the graphics and music and everything. Love it. Love y'all. Merci for all of your beautiful content. All right, let's get into this 0 point. For those of you who are at 0 point or have had these lucid moments, you've had these times, it's that energy that you want to hold on to. Usually it's fleeting because, let's be honest, we're not ascending into energetic beings at the moment. We're having a very human experience, but it's going to be that energy that you're like, ooh, I'm on to something here. I see it all. I feel it all. I know it all. It's there. All right. So what are our messages for people who are working with that 0 point energy? First of all, you get the 4 of Wands. So this is where things are powered up. This is where the energy is there. Now, this in relationship wise, if those of you who maybe be reaching that 0 point with a partner, this is where you just feel loved. You feel stabilized in someone else's energy. We're definitely seeing a romantic looking gesture here, or a couple, and we're looking at the heightened aspects of the feminine and masculine energies, right? And they are fired up, right? They are online. So this would be, like I said, Stargate Atlantis, the 0 point module comes online and it powers the city. This is you being powered up, maybe through relationship or something that's making you feel stabilized in these energies. This is a beautiful way to ground in the energy of 0 point, right? It is difficult to, in my experience at least, it's difficult to hold it unless maybe you're someone who meditates a lot or has that time where you can really get into the energy. Some people, and I'm getting called to say some of you may have experienced it with plant medicine as well. So really just it's that place where everything is as it should be and everything is known and everything is felt, right? And there's a stabilizing energy in having these experiences. I'm being encouraged to tell some of you, when you're having these experiences or you have these moments, leave yourself a voice message, record it somehow, write it down, do something to mark the event when you feel it. Others of you are, depending on your makeup, your astrology, your personality, you'll be able to carry this energy a little bit longer. Some of you may be able to infuse it into your creative ventures. So I really love that. But what's interesting here is what I'm being shown, and those of you who might be working with this energy, is that we have then an intellectual progression that's happening after these moments. So we have these moments and they put us in this place of energized stability. And then we're going to go through a little process intellectually. We've got the Page of Swords here. And what I feel like is happening, the Page of Swords, this is going to be our learner. This is going to be our newbie, our noob, as my kids call, when they're playing games, they call people noobs, or, like on Roblox, there is it Roblox or Fortnite, they're like bacons or something. You know, you learn all these terms. This is the noob. We've all been in the noob energy from time to time, and this is a new thought arising. So you have maybe a new thought, something occurs to you that's new. There is some intellectual pursuit that is shining through for you. You may not know what to do with it quite yet, and that's okay, but it comes through to you, right? And it piques your interest and it gets you engaged in a very intellectual way, right? So mentally speaking, when we get ourselves in these places of 0 point, it actually it feels to me, I'm going to go out on a limb here and just make the statement, it feels to me like neurons just activated, that the neural pathways just connected, that honestly, like, your intelligence went up a couple notches here from being in this 0 point energy. Wow, that's powerful. So gained intelligence, maybe not knowing what to do with it quite yet, but we will figure out what to do with it. The Knight of Swords comes in. This is a very fast moving energy. For some of you, this whole experience could feel like what I've heard people in the spiritual community say is like a download. You know, I'm getting a download. You know, I like to call those things activations. This very much feels like an activation, right? And so this Knight of Swords energy is going to move you. It's going to pull you forward. Some of you may do that instantaneously. It is a faster moving energy. So maybe you don't know what to do with what you've gained at first, an awareness and insight and actual, like, honestly, I want to say it feels like the IQ is going up. Like if we were to measure the brain, the IQ while all this 0 point energy was happening, it's like goes up. So it's an evolution in the intellect. And Derek says, yes, merci. Yes, dissolving the divide, dissolving the divide. I love that too, that title for his podcast and interviews there. Yes, we like the knights because the knights in one way, shape, or form will bring in the movement. They bring in the application. So this is going to carry you forward. Receiving this 0 point stable energy. Again, if this is happening for you, isn't this interesting? See, when we're in places of stability, when we're in loving places, when we're cared for, our needs are met, basic needs all met, that kind of thing, the best circumstances can then arise out of that energy. And I know that's not the case for everyone all the time, right? Most of us are weaving in and out of, we've got chaos, we've got conflict, we've got all these overlays that are going on in the collective energies. And we're in this soup, but this is like your still moment in the soup and you see it all. You see it all around you, feel it all around you, know it all around you. And it's a great time. So if you're having these lucid moments, well, I call them lucid moments too, you're having these activations, record it, document it somehow for yourself. What were you doing when it happened? Some people, it just happens unexpectedly, or some people, it happens in that space in between wakefulness and dream. Other people, it's in their dreams. They'll have like the lucid dreams. And yet others, it's a meditative state or maybe an activity when the neurotransmitters and the hormones in the body are in a certain state of vibration or a certain alignment, a certain balance. Okay. That's freaking cool. I love it. Okay. Let's get some more on this because this 0 point energy, I really think humanity is, I think there's awareness, and I think possibly in some of our ancient cultures that were here, that are no longer with us, that are what we would call extinct cultures, I think gained a lot more momentum toward this 0 point energy than we have at this point. But I think that's what we're ramping up toward as the galactic cycle moves closer, as we move closer to the center of our galaxy and all of that powerful energy. I do think that's what's happening. Derek says, happy spring equinox. Yes, you too. And to everyone who's joined. Interesting 0 point theme. Yes, in context with the fire energy from the wands and Aries. Yes. Yes. Some people are going to experience that way. The previous breakout groups I did endings, pivot, and beginning. So some of you may feel like you're in those places too, right? And then having these 0 point experiences at these different phases. It's going to depend what energy you're in. But I would say, yes, because you're going to go from your 0 point into something new, So it's going to be that Aries energy, that first house energy. And let's see what else wants to be revealed about 0 point. Oh boy. Okay. More fire. There's our fire there. Yep. Oh, well, now we got the fire, Derek. I guess you were having a little premonition there. We got the 7 of Wands there. Yeah. So then you have this experience, you have this activation energy, and look what comes next. We got the Knight of Wands and the 7 of Wands. Another knight, right? Yeah. And I love this because this is where it comes out in expression. This is where it comes out in creativity. The 7 of Wands in this particular reading is giving me the feeling that you know something that others don't know. Others would like to gain the knowledge and wisdom that you have. You've got all these wands, and here you are holding on to one and saying, yes, I have figured out this. I have this key. And for everyone, it's going to be something different, right? Being in the 0 point energy is going to reveal to you what your specific position is in all of this, right? It's the recognition in some way, shape, or form, however whether you intuit or you hear or you sense or you just know, however it works for you, it's the recognition of your multidimensional self, your greater being, as I like to call it, greater being, all at once. Hollywood did that movie, Everything Happening Everywhere All at Once. It was creepy and weird. They always do that. They always do their like little inverted things. They do their little inverted versions of this stuff because they got to tell us what's going on. But it's not about them telling us. It's about us having the actualized experience of this. And so everyone is going to get to that 0 point in a different way and through a different sense is what I'm trying to say, depending on your personal blueprint. But once you have that knowing, you get to carry it with you. Now, the 7 of Wands can also be a little bit of a defensive kind of feeling, as if we look at this card from that perspective, this person has all these other wands coming at them, but they're holding tight and they're standing firm and tall on the wand that they have. So if we think about the collective energies, we think about the state of society, we think about everyone, just wanting to tell everybody else how it's done instead of aligning with truth and not your truth, his truth, her truth, universal truth and alignment. That's what this person is protecting here because they've had that 0 point energy. The 0 point is everything. It's like the in-between knowing of everything. And so from there, yes, we realize, yeah, we're going to defend these energies. We're going to defend the truth that has been actualized through us in our own unique way so that we can carry the torch forward with this Knight of Wands. We're going to light the way in the darkness. We're going to light the way on the evolutionary path. It doesn't matter, and this is a card of a single individual. It doesn't matter who is coming behind here. It doesn't matter who's been on the path forward. This is about you moving yourself down the path. No one else is going to move you. They're going to try. People are going to try to move you. People are going to try to hold you back the other direction, right? And keep you down. human nature, right? Jealousy, competition, and some of the inverted energies that are going on here. Your job is to hold the torch. You've got armor. That's showing me that if you're in this energy and you've determined this is something that is coveted, this is something that I need to protect, you're going to armor up. You're going to protect yourself. You're going to make sure your energy is protected, right? You're going to make sure your creativity is protected. You're going to make sure your mental state, the all is the mind. You have to make sure your mind is protected from those outside influences. You will know it in these moments of lucid stability where everything truly is for you happening all at once. Zero, like the sacred womb birthing new creation. Yes, the womb energy is very connected to zero, to the zero, that in between what lies on the other side and a birth into a life being born into a womb, and that 0 point. Yes, that soul experience, right? Beautiful way of putting it. There's and more of you drop in the comments, if you're watching this live or on the replay, how have you experienced this 0 point? How have you experienced these lucid moments, right? Very good. This is, when we're creators and when we're in this space of truly collaborating on the platform of truth and alignment with the natural and cosmic law, the best conversations open up from this, y'all. That's why I said go check out Awaken Your Minds channel too. Very similar in the way we're not just collaborating with anybody to collaborate. We're actually opening up conversations that are going to carry forth and evolve humanity in very, very interesting and dynamic ways. And we're recognizing that not everybody's going to wear the same kind of armor. Not everybody's going to have the same kind of horse, right? Not everybody may walk the exact same path going forth, but we have that protection anyway, and we're moving forward in that. Yes. And the circle of the magician, right? I love that. That's my favorite protective energy. I'm going to have more on that coming up, at least my take on it. Soon, sometime soon, lots is being birthed here. So let's get, for this group, I want to go into the Rose Oracle here, and I want to get us a closing card because the rose really reminds me of the womb energy. It's really a place of 0 point. People are going to be dealing with flowers in the springtime here, and just having the sense, just smelling a rose. We saw that come up in some of the readings today. Yes, we're going for the win-wins here with one another. Love it. All right. The Rose Oracle. Ooh, I love this. So, here we are, and we're in this 0 point energy. We're having these activations, and we're still walking around in these physical bodies, right? And we got the sacred waters: nourishment, replenishment, health, rest, and self-care. And as we continue to evolve and work with energy, and as we continue to have these understandings and these breakthroughs, we still have a physical body that needs care. And so I'm definitely getting, for those of you who have explored this or are exploring this, make sure you balance this out in those moments where you are really experiencing these activations. It's a heightened energy, and sometimes there may be parts of your body that need to catch up a little. So if you're having any tension, you may need to go for a massage or some body work, some healing body work. Some of you may enjoy the saunas or the spas or the whirlpools, the sacred waters. Some of you have access, depending where you're at in the world, to maybe some springs, like a hot springs, or even a healing spring. Or I'm thinking of, like, in Czech Republic, I went to this place, this city, Karl Vivari, and it was like they had like the springs there, and the water was known for, had certain properties and certain elements in it that were really healing. So whatever calls to you with healing yourself through nourishment, replenishment, getting, you know, getting the body replenished so that it can keep up and it can hold these energies. I think that's why a lot of people are having these experiences, but it's hard to sustain them because of the needs of the body. But we're human, we're meant to be working with it. And I'm going to go back to Stargate, because what happens and they depict it really well in Stargate Atlantis, where one of the characters, you know, he gets this download of like they were trying to achieve ascension through like trying to activate ascension in a person. And so he turns on this machine and this energy winds around him. And all of a sudden he's like super smart and all these, you know, he's already a smart person, but he's figuring out all these mathematical equations and all these things are happening, but his body cannot, his body begins to, the brain activity is so much that it takes a toll, and he's gonna die or ascend. And it's, you can't ascend on just the intelligence alone. There's more to ascension. It involves the whole body, and that's what we're being reminded of here with this sacred waters here, right? This vessel at some point, you know, will, maybe this vessel that I'm in now won't ascend. Maybe my soul will be in another vessel when it does, right? But we're beginning to work with these energies. We can't overload the system though. Be careful with, you know, because it's very alluring energy. It's very attractive because you're just are. You can just be and you know everything all at once. Derek's saying like evolved emotional intelligence. Water is certainly connected to the emotions. I was getting the physical body feel, but it's all connected, right? So I have known people go through these moments, and yes, it could emotionally activate you as well. While that didn't come up in the tarot, in this particular one, some of you will find that there will be these activations that are emotional. Okay, but to, you know, again, like be careful of all the illusions out there, you know, the promises like take my course and I'll help you ascend, right? Ascension is like so involved. It takes lifetimes. And there's a lot of work to be done here. And in fact, this is where we get to do the best of the work here on earth, here on this playing ground where we have access to the intellectual, the emotional, the mental bodies, the physical body. And we're in this density. It's very exciting because we get to have these glimpses into maybe where we're headed, but we also have to learn, you know, that the body too is having an experience, and it's very important to not fragment ourselves, right? That's why some people, you know, they go into like the clouds and they just get lost and they're always like airy fairy. There's no, you got to be grounded. You got to be grounded. We're here to have that grounded experience as well. That stabilizing energy involves the body. It would involve the emotions too. You know, bringing this wands always gives me this particular deck. This wands gives me a cups feeling. It kind of gives me a two of cups feeling too. So that emotional body coming in, that partnership, how love can activate us, having love, sharing love with a partner, with someone else, those sacred waters. So yeah, remembering that as well. Ooh, cool. I love that 0 point reading. That was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I want to send a special thank you to everybody who popped on today, whether you're here for the long haul or just at the end. Just a reminder, in 2 days, so on Sunday the 23rd, from 7 to 8 p.m. Central, I will be live here on the channel again, answering your questions and providing mini readings for everyone. So everyone that I can pack into the hour. So try to get on there early if you really have a burning question you want to ask. You can ask about relationships. You can ask about a person if you want, but also you might want to ask about the energies that are going on. So take some time maybe in advance to think of what kind of question you want to ask. Do you really want to know what your ex is doing? Is that really the best use of your time? Or Is it better to say, how am I evolving in my energies, my emotional energies of love, right? So maybe try rephrasing, because sometimes I get that sometimes on the lives and I want people to go a little bit deeper. Yes, 7 p.m. Central, 7 p.m., 7 to 8 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, the 23rd. And then I do that it's usually every other Sunday night, unless I have something come up, like an event or something like that. And so I do that every other week on Sunday night. It's a lot of fun. We have a great community that's showing up. Everybody's very supportive. They're saying hi to each other, like-minded, like-hearted people. It's meant to have a good time, right? At the end of the day, my channel, my readings, everything is meant to inspire and empower and elevate. We're going to acknowledge the shitty, crappy stuff that's happening, right? But we're always going to be looking for ways to move through that and evolve, right? So if you've enjoyed this, thank you for dropping comments. Thank you for dropping emojis. Yeah, I know. Okay, so I can't catch my European people because it's 4 a.m. and most of them are asleep when I'm doing my live Q&A. And I know that. I may switch it up eventually to where I do a Q&A during the day to catch that other group. But yeah, right now it's just, calendar issues that I'm dealing with and everything. So, but yes, it is. I know it's hard for my European group to catch those readings, but I'm sending so much love to y'all. Remember at the very beginning, in case you didn't catch the beginning, I am offering a tarot special right now. Go to Instagram at Creators on the Crest or my Facebook business page at Creators on the Crest. Look in the stories. $20 reading. That's a great price. I'm going to go in 3 to 5 cards on whatever theme or question you have. I'm going to go in, I'm going to pack it full, and I'm going to send it to you. All right. That'll be through Messenger or email there. So it's you give me your question. I sit down, I do it, and I send you all the information. All right. Send you all what I got for that. So it's a great deal. I don't do specials very often. It's only available through the 31st. So if that's something you want to do, I have the link right in there. You just book it and then we'll get you on the calendar and we'll get your reading to you. So that's a fun thing that I'm doing right now. I hope to see you all next Friday. It's been awesome. I wish you all so much love, joy, peace, excitement. Go rock your worlds. Go shake shit up. All right. Take care.